I am Amílcar Cabral, freedom fighter for Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde, and a soldier of African liberation. I led my people against Portuguese rule, armed with unity, not hate. I taught that culture is our greatest weapon, and when we know who we are, we can never be conquered. And alongside fellow Pan-Africanists, I fought for a united, liberated Africa. Our struggle was not just for land, but for dignity and identity. Now, please listen to the Griot's canvas.
He walked the soil before he ever held a rifle. In the wind over Guinea-Bissau's fields he listened. The rustle of leaves, the moan of drought, the silent hunger of lives not yet free. That land, that people, called him to something greater. They called him Amílcar Cabral. He was born on 12 September 1924 in Bafata, in what was then Portuguese Guinea, though his roots lay in Cape Verde. His father and mother were Cape Verdean, but their lives, like so many in colonial West Africa, were bound by movement, language, survival. He would grow up straddling worlds, colonial and African, rural and cosmopolitan. In his youth, he encountered thirst and famine in Cape Verde, the harshness of drought, the failure of crops, the helplessness of constrained lives. Those early years carved in him a deep understanding. To free a people, one must free their land, their dignity, their capacity to feed, to tend, to think. He won a scholarship to Lisbon, where he studied agronomy. In Portugal, among books and debates, he met African students from Mozambique, Angola, Cape Verde. In the salons of ideas, he encountered negritude, Pan-African thought, anti-colonial critiques. But he never lost his gaze toward the soil, the villages, the dusty paths of Africa. He carried both worlds in him, theory and earth. When he returned to Guinea in the early 1950s, he was appointed agronomist, assigned to conduct an agricultural census. He traveled over 60,000 kilometers across the territory, from village to village, field to field, rain season and dry season. He measured the productivity of soil, but also measured the lives of people, their customs, their crises, their hopes. Over years, he walked farther than most officials would dare. Through this, he became intimately familiar with the land and the people. But he did not remain a mere technician. In his visits, he spoke with farmers, listened to elders, recorded stories, understood how colonial demands altered their lives. He planted himself among them, not above them. He organized cooperatives, literacy classes, small experiments to improve yield, teach new techniques. He believed that the revolution must grow in daily life, not just in battle. The colonial authorities watched. In 1955, he was dismissed from his post. His work was suspicious, his connections critical. He was accused of subversion. He left Guinea temporarily, traveled, connected with other African nationalists and Pan-Africanists because he refused to be silenced. In 1956, he co-founded the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde, PAIGC. It was a bold gesture, not just to win territory, but to unite across islands and continent, to bind Cape Verde and Guinea in a shared liberation. Many thought it impossible. Different geographies, languages, social structures. But Cabral insisted unity was not an ultimate goal, but a method to accelerate emancipation. He moved between diplomacy and clandestine organizing, between radio broadcasts and rural networks. He understood the contradictions, how to appeal to the educated, how to reach the illiterate, how to carry culture and struggle in one movement. Slowly, the party built cells in villages, committees, secret networks. His vision was not just war, it was political work, education, cultural reawakening. By the early 1960s, armed struggle became inevitable. In 1963, the PAIGC took the decisive step. Guerrilla warfare began. But this was not a war detached from society. Cabral insisted that fighters must live with people, assist them with harvests, teach, heal, not just fight. The liberated zones were experiments in administration, justice, local democracy. He pushed for committees in villages, local rule, women's involvement, cultural revival. He said, "Hide nothing from the masses of our people. Tell no lies. Expose lies whenever they are told. Mask no difficulties, mistakes, failures. Claim no easy victories." His party directives emphasized political work even in military units. Each fighter was to be a thinker, a conscience, a builder. He emphasized that culture was not peripheral. Colonization attacked minds as much as bodies. He warned that a people liberated territorially, but not culturally, would inherit alienation. He declared, "National liberation is necessarily an act of culture. Let people reclaim their histories, languages, traditions, not as relics, but living forces." He also adapted Marxist theory to African reality. He refused mechanical importation. He asserted that each country's struggle must start from its specific context, its soil, its structures. He critiqued idealistic dogmatism and called for flexibility, sensitivity, debate. Internationally, he traveled. He spoke at conferences. He brought PAIGC to the UN stage. He forged alliances with other liberation movements, with Cuba and several African states. He argued that for Africa to be free, imperialism must be challenged both in Africa and beyond. He insisted the struggle was global. Inside PAIGC, too, he demanded vigilance. He warned that the greatest threat sometimes comes from within, from jealousy, factionalism, corruption. He said betrayal, not foreign force, might kill the movement from the inside. On the night of 20 January 1973, in Conakry, Guinea, Cabral was ambushed. Leaving a reception at the Polish embassy, he encountered a roadblock. He recognized the faces. They were men from his own movement. He was shot, mortally wounded, machine gun fire tearing his body. He died before independence was fully declared. His death stunned the struggle, but it did not end it. Within months, Guinea-Bissau declared unilateral independence in September 1973. In Portugal, the Carnation Revolution in 1974 overthrew the regime and colonial wars ended. His life lit the path. But his legacy is not just in flags or borders. It lives in thought, in courage, in principle. Today, across Africa and the diaspora, his ideas on culture, on unity, on integrity, on adaptation continue to inspire. He taught us that you cannot build liberation by lies, that power without accountability breeds rot, that the people must not be spectators, but actors, that revolution is not just taking the land, but remaking the self, the mind, the community. As the sun sets over those fields he once walked, imagine him walking still, across national borders, across languages, across generations. His footsteps echo in schools named for him, in youth movements raising his quotes, in scholars translating his ideas, in hearts that refuse to forget. He may not have lived to wave the flag over a free land, but he planted seeds. Those seeds sprouted in minds, in communities, in the enduring struggle for dignity. And so his revolution lives in every field tended, in every poem read, in every voice raised against colonial shadows. If we listen, we still hear him. Tell no lies, claim no easy victories.